Can a long travel e-mountain bike hang where the cross-country bike is king? Will it be as fast? Will it be as efficient? Or will it be compromised? It's time to put the Lycra on. Or maybe not. For today's video, we've been lucky enough to borrow a couple of bikes from our sister channel EMBN. Mountain bikes have evolved in many ways to suit the disciplines in hand. So let's take a look at a few examples. The downhill bike, 14 to 16 kilograms, lightweight but super strong frames, 200mm travel front and rear with long, slack, low geometry. It's got gearing on there to suit downhill only with chain retention. On the other end of the spectrum, we have the cross-country bike. 9 to 10 kilos, super light is the name of the game here. Carbon frames, titanium parts, 100mm travel, or sometimes even hardtails are used. Tight, light, and a full-on racing machine. So what about the e-bike equivalent to the bikes we've been riding today? Well, you've got bikes such as the Levo SL. That's a super lightweight bike, weighing in at around 17 kilos. That is great for big days out. But that's not the question we want to answer today. We want to know, is a kind of big downhill style e-mountain bike take on the equivalent cross-country mountain bike? That's what we want to know. Long travel e-bikes tend to be made of aluminium with super strong frames, weighing in at around 24 to 25 kilos. Travel is usually around 180 to 200 millimeters, and that's usually provided by a coil shock on the rear. Then you have the motor, 250 watts of nominal power, 90 newton meters of torque. But is that going to be enough to keep up with that lightweight XC machine? So what exactly is a cross-country ride? Well, it's all about getting out there and putting the miles in. Usually on a circular route where you're gonna have a start and a finish, and within that loop, you're gonna have some killer climbs, amazing descents, and some lush single track in between, linking it all up. And you go around that loop, you have an amazing time, and it's all about getting a good workout too. So today I've come up with a short loop which is going to combine all of those three different features. We've got a steep uphill climb which is going to be super steep, it's super greasy, and it's pretty tech. Then we've got a single track section where it's nice and flow, and we've got an open byway which is nice and smooth. Then that switches into some single track, and then we're going to finish it off with a downhill track which has got some jumps, some big corners and some loose bits, and it's super fast. So let's kick things off with a hill climb. So this is the climbing part of the loop. It doesn't look that steep, but I can assure you that it definitely is. It's also pretty slippy today, and with the ground being chalky, you're gonna get a lot of wheel spin. It also has a lot of rocks and roots and root steps the whole way. So it's gonna be quite hard, I'm thinking, especially on those standard bikes. Let's give it a go. Right, so first bike for the climbing challenge is going to be the standard cross-country bike. Now it doesn't get much better than this when it comes to climbing. 29-inch wheels, super light frame. It's got lockout front and rear and a pretty easy gear. So let's give it a go. I'm not looking forward to this one. It's not fun. Front wheel is actually lifting off the ground. Alrighty. Whoa! Super slippy. Right, let's get back on it. As you can hear, pretty much gonna have a heart attack. Oh my God. God, that was hard work. Stop the clock. 3 minutes, bang on. Now that wasn't easy, a bit of riding and a bit of pushing going on. So I'm gonna head back to the bottom of the hill and try it on the downhill bike. Whew. Whew. Right, I'm definitely not looking forward to this one. I actually had to push the cross-country bike on that steeper section of the hill. So the downhill bike, I don't think this thing has got a chance, and I think I'm about to find out why they call these things push bikes. Anyway, let's give it a go. Oh my God. Oh, the gearing and the suspension. Oh, this is why they call them push bikes. Ah. There's no way this bike is getting to the top of that hill. 36 tooth chainring and a mini like road cassette out back. Not a chance. Pushing all the way. God, I'm sweating so much. Never pushed a bike up a hill like that for ages now. Ah, time 3 minutes 15 seconds, so 15 seconds slower than my ride and push on the canyon, so not crazy difference there. I'm interested to see what this e-bike can do. Right, you can stay there. Time for a bit of e-power. Right, this is feeling a little bit more like it. I'm back on the e-bike lastly to go up the hill, so I'm going to engage turbo mode, stick it on the easiest gear, hit a good cadence, and hopefully smash those times. Let's go. Whoa, amazing, straight away. That's more like it. Now what's the time saying? 1 minute 10 seconds, so crazy difference there on speed. And that's not surprising. I think on this bike it just felt you had that power the whole way up, and when you come to a rock step or a route you could just use the overrun of the motor to overcome it. I think on the canyon, the cross-country bike, again it felt good on the smoother climbs, but as soon as it becomes slippy you had to get the power down out of the saddle, it's quite easy to wheel spin. And then the downhill bike, well, that's what it is. It's a downhill bike with that gearing on there with a big chainring and that small cassette. It had absolutely zero chance of getting up this hill. So I think it's time to head out onto some single track and see how these bikes fare on those flatter sections, see how much difference it makes between these three. Next up, this is a typical cross-country scenario. We've got a long gravel byway, which is slightly downhill at the start, it flattens off. Then we're going to hang a left into a field section, which is like a single track flowing piece that goes through the field, tight turn. Then we've got a punchy little climb to finish at the top of the downhill track. So we've got the cross-country bike heading out first. Now this should be really good for this. It's got those big 29-inch wheels, big gearing, super lightweight. It should be an absolute rocket on this. And of course you haven't got that limiter like you have on the e-bike. That should be the ultimate tool for the job. Then you've got the downhill bike, you've got the gearing on that bike, but you're going to be quite limited by those big fat sticky tires. You've got no dropper seat post on there, and again it is slightly heavier. And talking of heavy, last up we've got the e-bike. Now this is going to be an absolute rocket off the start line to 16 miles an hour, then that limiter is going to kick in and you're going to be stuck with a 24.5 kilo bike slogging it away on that downhill section. It's only when that speed drops below 16 miles an hour that you're going to get that assistance kick back in and drive you. So it's going to be quite interesting on that bike to work above that limiter and see what the time is at the end of this one. Right, so first up on the line is the Canyon Lux. Now this bike should be an absolute missile down here. Super lightweight, full suspension, skinny, lightweight 29-inch wheels, good gearing and a real aggressive riding position. This one is definitely going to be all about speed. Right. Straight away I can see this bike definitely fast. We're actually going along. Woo! This is fast. You feel that lighter weight bike accelerating quite nicely there. Now for a bit of single track. There's a little climb. This is all just nice and flowing at the minute. Oh, that felt so fast. Actually, it felt, I'm not too sure if it's the actual bike that makes you feel fast or it is fast. The clock is saying 2 minutes 31, so that seems pretty rapid. And I know as I was coming down that first bit of fire road, I looked down at the Garmin and we were going about 30 miles an hour and it seemed to hold that speed really well. There was a couple of slow bits just coming out the first turn and this final climb just sort of bogged down. But I'm not sure whether the bike's feeling fast or it's just because of the geometry, like the head angle is quite steep, tyres are quite skinny, it's making it feel quite lively, and sometimes that kind of transfers into a fast feeling. But I'm not too sure, so let's check on the clock against a downhill bike. Now I'm not fancying my chances on this. Big sticky compound tyres, 200mm travel up front and the rear, big coil shock bouncing away, no dropper seat post, but I have got that really good high-speed gearing, so hopefully I'm going to carry some good speed down here. Let's get this baby off the line then. 3, 2, 1. And then this bike hasn't got a dropper, so all of this is out of the saddle. So yeah, 25 mile an hour now. Woo. Definitely feeling a lot more planted than the cross-country bike. So I would really like a dropper along this section. Stop the clock. That last little climb absolutely killed me. I think down the fire road, this was very comparable, I think, to the cross-country bike. You've got that bigger gearing on there, so you can achieve that top speed really well. And it felt super planted, the suspension and those big tyres providing a load of grip at quite high speed down there. But let's have a look at the time. 2 minutes 36 seconds, so 5 seconds slower than the cross-country bike. So that's pretty interesting on a bike like this. I'd imagine if you had a dropper on there, you could get up there into some more efficient pedaling, then you might make that time up, especially considering the geometry of this bike. It's quite long wheelbase, quite slack, long and low for such a chilled out track. Well surprised by that one. Right, next up, the Specialized Kenevo. Now, I'm not too sure what to expect from this bike. I know it's absolutely going to fly off the line up to 16 mile an hour, but with this, it's obviously restricted to 60 miles an hour, so any speed above that is going to be under my own steam. But we've got the big downhill tyres on there, so they should hook up in the turn. And then I feel the motor's going to assist me into that next section. Then obviously, once I drop below 15 mile an hour, that motor's going to kick in and drive me up that final climb. Right, let's get this one going. Really having to work pretty hard to keep above this, but still she's holding pretty good speed here, 26 mile an hour still. Oh, I've got that motor assistance here, what I didn't have from the other bikes, so it's feeling good. Just got that assist going up this hill. This is where I lost a load of time on the other bikes, but that assist just kicking in. Woo. Whoa, now that felt fast. It felt super fast, super planted the whole way too. Now, I think off of the line, this bike seemed super quick. Obviously, it's going to be up to 60 mile an hour, but then whilst I was going down the fire road, it didn't feel as fast as the cross-country bike or even the downhill bike. You have to work quite hard with the e-bike to keep it to carry that speed. But the first corner, I think I slowed down quite a lot more on this, but then I got more acceleration out of it than both bikes combined. Both the manual bikes sort of bogged down quite a bit till they're up to speed. And then I think the final climb, again, I lost a lot of time on the manual bikes, whereas this simply powered up that last climb and it's absolutely smashed the time, 2 minutes 11 seconds. So the last test of the day, and it's all downhill from here. This is a typical descent that you will find on a cross-country loop. It's short, It's nice flowing turns, nothing too technical or rocking. It's all quite wide open. So I'm really interested to see how these bikes are gonna turn out on this one. Will the cross-country bike be able to hang with its downhill brothers? Or will we see the downhill bike smashing it? Or will we see the e-bike be king of the hill once again? Time to hit it. Right, so first up on the downhill track is going to be the cross-country bike. Now, I'm not too sure what to expect from this bike. It might be the absolute best tool for the job on this because it's got fast rolling tyres, 29er. This track is nice and dry. It's quite fast as well, so hopefully the 29er is going to hold its speed. The only thing that might be a limiting factor on this bike is going to be the geometry. Quite a steep head angle and everything about it isn't quite aimed at going downhill. But this one might surprise us. Right, let's get ready. Go. Now that felt really good. Those big 29-inch wheels, fast rolling tyres were really good when it was nice and smooth. They're a little bit sketchy on the looser stuff. I had a bit of a drift going on in one of the corners, but the straight line speed of this thing is absolutely insane. It just loses it a little bit when the going gets steep. You've got that steep head angle and you feel quite over the front and quite, you know, a little bit out of control over more of the downhill, style e-bikes. But yeah, good time 1:04. It's time to see what that downhill bike can put in down the hill. Now this is the tool for the job in the mountain bike world. Got those big wide sticky tyres on there, big suspension, big brakes, and the geometry to suit. We're talking long, low and slack. Now this should be the ultimate tool to smash a perfect time down here. Got a super playful 27.5 wheel on it and a bit lighter than the e-bike that I'm used to. So this should be interesting. Now I knew that felt pretty quick, so that's a lot faster than the cross-country bike, and I could really feel the geometry of this bike helping out. The suspension felt absolutely amazing, all the grip that it provided as well, and those bigger hits like the little step down jump landed so smooth over there. On the cross-country bike I wasn't actually brave enough to hit that, so I went round it, but this one direct line, nice smooth landing, loads of grip from those big fat tyres and a pretty fast time. Now I'm not too sure that the e-bike's going to beat that. Let's go try. Last up, we've got the downhill style e-mountain bike. Now in the e-bike world, these bikes are designed to be smashed down the hill, no problem, and winch you to the top super quick. Got a lot of weight in this bike, big sticky downhill tyres, big suspension travel, big discs, big weight, and I'm hoping a fast time. So let's get this one done. Woo! Whoa. Well, that felt absolutely insane down the hill there, and the amount of grip that I was getting in the corners was just felt so much more on this bike compared to the others. They're a lot more lightweight versus this heavyweight, and I think suspension really pushes you down in those turns, really enhances the grip, and suspension works so well with that added weight. So the corners felt good, and we smashed it down there in a sub minute. We've got 59 seconds, so it was way quicker than the traditional mountain bikes. So here we are back at the start of our cross-country loop, and the question that I asked at the start of the video was, can you ride cross-country on a long travel e-mountain bike? Well, in short, you definitely can, and it goes to show that a long travel e-mountain bike can actually hang up and beat the best mountain bikes out there that are designed to do the actual job in hand. We took a cross-country bike up the climbs and it beat it up the climbs. We took a downhill bike to the downhill trails and it beat the downhill bike down there as well. And in the middle, we got that cross-country kind of single track, and it was pretty level pegging around there. And you know, the e-bike had a slight advantage there as well. So the overall experience was a lot faster. Was it compromised in any way? Well, the thing is, with a long travel e-mountain bike like this, you've got those big downhill style forks up front. And sometimes it might affect those slow speed turns when you're in that technical terrain, but this bike isn't designed to be ridden slow. It wants to go fast, and it really comes alive when you start hitting stuff with speed. Is the gearing compromised? Well, it shows you I could easily get to the top of that hill, and you can mess around with the gearing on it to suit your application that you're riding, your discipline, and those climbs that you're hitting. So in short, I think this downhill e-mountain bike is super capable, and it depends on the type of terrain you're riding. Obviously, if you're riding smooth, cross-country kind of trails all the time, then this probably isn't the bike of choice. But if you're one of those guys that are hitting bike parks, big drops, and downhill sessions, and using one of these things as a shuttle, and you want to go out on a cross-country ride, well, this bike, yes, it definitely can do it. But don't forget to get involved in the comments box down below to let us know if you ride your downhill bike on cross-country style trails. Give us a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe to EMBN and find us and give us a follow on social media too. Cheers, guys.